Hey folks, this is your host, the one, the only Thrifty Gamer 83 here. You know what? Today we are going to look at my Panasonic DVD video recorder. It is the DMR E55 model. I've been using it for a while now. It has a nice little feature to it, which is to take composite and upscale it. It can work with component video and do 480i or 480p. Unfortunately, I don't have the remote, but as it just so happens, I don't really mind not having the 480p. I like having the crispness of the component videos, even in 480i. It's a nice little look to it. It gives a lot of brightness and balance to the picture on games like Medal of Honor Frontline, X-Men Legends, and Final Fantasy X. Now, it's a nice little setup, and I guess what happened from the receipt that was on it was somebody got it from a thrift store. They were disappointed it couldn't record TV. It was released in that time frame before, it went to digital. The TV signals went to digital, so people were, needless to say, upset that they could no longer record. So what happened is 3 or 4 times, I guess, judging by the thrift store receipts, oh, this is broken. So it got donated to a transfer station, swap shop, and thereafter I just decided to take a look at it, and I thought to myself, you know what? This thing would be good. I do need a selector. I haven't been able to find a good selector that could also do upscaling, but you know what? I lucked into it, and really, it's what I've been using on my PlayStation 2, my GameCube, and my original Xbox. So yeah, it strikes a nice happy medium, being able to take the composite and upscale it to component levels and do 480p or 480i. Now, 480i is just standard, but like I said before, it looks great with component cables. It really does. Now it kind of makes me miss having my studio and my big screen 36-inch CRT TV. Oh, yeah. So, and what I've also done is, because it's cramped quarters, I've taken my Nintendo 64 and put that on the 10-deck RCA to HDMI. It gives a nice picture with great quality, and as well, it doesn't do no signal on an HD TV. So that's really a nice thing to have. And as for the Panasonic, like I said before, it just handles everything from the early 2000s and under. I've discovered that, yeah, it can also do the Nintendo 64, my original PlayStation, but I like striking that balance because it was released in the Panasonic was released about 2005, 2006, so like I said before, it's a nice happy medium. Before HD TVs became really popular and, well, CRTs were being phased out. As I said before, I miss the depth and resolution of CRT TVs, and I think this Panasonic, when next I get a studio, will fit in great with another CRT TV or professional video monitor, because, I can luck into those sometimes, but I just have to wait till there's enough space. Now, and aside from that, my son, who was born with Hirschsprungs, as I mentioned before, had surgery when he was about 2 weeks old, and has recovered from it. He is now a healthy and happy 4-month-old, and this month will be his 5th month, and I love him so much. And that's enough for the deep thought for today. Anyway, pulling you all back in with the Panasonic after that digression. The Panasonic really does have a nice, crisp picture to it. I was watching My Life in Gaming, and they were discussing how you could use a DVD recorder, and that's when it hit me. This thing has 3 inputs. I wonder what I can do with it, because originally I was just thinking, well, you know, I can put this in PJ's room when he's old enough. I can put it in his room, and he can use it to watch Care Bears or something to that effect. But the more I looked at it, the more I realized, you know, he's going to have a Blu-ray player, and DVDs are kind of just being phased out in favor of Blu-rays, so yeah, it would probably be a Blu-ray player. This, I was thinking, well, I can put it in his room and he can use it. We can put 3 inputs on. We could probably tie in a baby monitor. Bleh, brain fart. Tie in a baby monitor on an input wirelessly and have another wireless receiver to stream it through to basically like a closed circuit television and be able to use it in a baby monitor setup. Alas, no. Instead, it just got regurgitated. Well, poor choice of words. Although PJ does that enough on my shoulder daily. It got recycled into just being my composite selector for component cabling. And it really does excel well in that area. I've been using it for a while. I've been using it to screen capture footage. I've been using it for games. Yeah, it's nice. It's not exactly top of the line nowadays, but you know, it's a nice pickup for what it is, and it does a great job, as I said before, for what it is. Now, as for the line ins, they operate on the channel selector, so you can go line 1, line 2, line 3, and it will scan through older analog signals. I'd recommend just getting a converter box, and if you're trying to record, you know, you can do a DVR option from it. It doesn't really have to be that big deal where you have to purchase a DVD, record it. You'll never usually just watch it again. And yeah, for gaming, it's just perfect. It's a perfect little box. It does what I need it to do. 3 inputs, although what I'm using now is a passive selector of composite inputs, and putting that back into the line 1 out through the component, and I don't really notice any artifacts or anything else. It's just nice and crisp, and it was free, although probably not free for the people who probably paid retail for it, and you know, it probably wasn't free for all of the 4 or 5 receipts I found not stapled to it, but taped to it from a thrift shop. So yeah, it's a nice little box. Alright folks, rant, rave, love, hate. Click that subscribe button. You're keeping my show on the air. Have a good one.